All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to Punk Rock Radar, where today we are ranking punk band's newest records. We did a punk rock debut tier list recently, and we were doing all the same bands, but their newest record kind of is a fun contrast to see where we would place the debuts versus the newest album. Is there like a big difference? Did the band improve? Did they get worse? And we'll do all that discussion in this one. So we're going to be looking at bands like Rancid, Green Day, Strung Out, MxPx, all going to show up in this one. But yeah, everyone is able to make it here. Dylan is here today, so it's always great to see him. His shining face.
Right. There he is.
There he is. Yes, we've got Screeching Bottle Rocket, aka Dylan from DyingScene.com. One of these directions. We've got Hudson Valley hardcore legend Lewis in the building, lover of animal, adopter of unadoptable dogs, and we've got Mr. Punk Rock Radar himself, our resident cat lady, John. So, sorry.
I'll take it. I do like cats.
He likes cats, so it's not a diss.
We're animal lovers here. This is an animal-friendly channel.
Yes. I like animals in cages and in tanks of water, but so like gerbils and fish, not dogs. So they don't mess with my stuff. Get away from my stuff. Also, dogs way too needy. Like, what is going on?
What about a bird?
Birds could be. I don't know. I feel like a bird would just be annoying, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but
some of them live like 50 years. Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay,
let's go.
So, what's the first band we're doing here, John?
It's gonna be Rancid, and their latest album. Is it this year? Tomorrow Never Comes.
No, it was last year, 2023. So, Tomorrow Never Comes. I was going to do like a positives and negatives of the album. And I say this, I think I probably owe Let the Dominoes Fall an apology because I honestly think this is the worst Rancid record. It is insanely boring. Nothing sticks in my head. It is, I would say it's a passable Rancid record, but I actually thought Troublemaker and Honor Is All We Know are passable Rancid records. I thought they had some good songs on them. I feel like this one, it felt like Rancid was at asleep at the wheel. This is like autopilot Rancid. This is like B-sides from the previous two albums. And I thought it was overall a really bad record. And it's going in my D tier.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
No way.
I didn't like it at all. It was insanely forgettable in my opinion. So I love Rancid.
Other junk.
Yeah, that's really.
Yeah. So go ahead, Lewis. Where are you putting?
I mean, looking at this competition, like, I think this record's pretty okay. Like, I enjoyed it. I haven't been the biggest Rancid fan since like 2000. I think Indestructible's when I fell off, and much everything after that sounds pretty much all the same to me, and I think they're okay. But I think compared to some of this thing, I'm gonna have to put this one in like at least A tier. Like, I don't know. I thought it was pretty. Yeah. I thought it was pretty okay.
That's crazy. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of wild differences in this one.
We will.
I'm curious. I think this is gonna be the most different tier list from all of us. So I'm curious what's going on. So we'll go with Dylan. What do you think of Tomorrow Never Comes?
I think pretty okay is a pretty accurate summation of my thoughts on the album. It's passable. It's not anything exceptional. I do like it more than the previous two Rancid albums. I am a known Let the Dominoes Fall appreciator, though. So I won't put it over that. I'm going to put this in A tier.
Ellie, you're going to be like on your own with. I think this is a pretty good Rancid album. I have my favorite songs pinned. Tomorrow Never Comes, New American, and Hear Us Out. I think are all good songs. I'm not as high as Dylan and Lewis, but I have this slotted right in my B tier, and I think it's the best Rancid album since Indestructible. When I heard Tomorrow Never Comes, the title track, I was pumped, dude. I think this is pretty good.
That title track rules. This is a pretty decent album.
I mean, there's like some okay elements of it. It just, to me, it was one of the most boring, safe Rancid albums I've ever heard. There's like a lack of any type of diversity. Where I feel like at least Let the Dominoes Fall, there was a few standout tracks where I felt like nothing caught my attention with this one. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I'll stand on an island with this one. So, but John, we'll start you off with "Saviors" here by Green Day.
Okay. Yeah, this I didn't know what to do with this one. Lewis and I are seeing them tomorrow, so I don't know if this is affecting my judgment. I think I gave this CD a 7 when it came out, maybe a 6. So it's kind of still where I am. I think Dilemma, 1981, Strange Days, Living in the 20s, and Saviors, the title track, are all really pretty good songs, and I don't think I found 5 songs I liked really on any of the other albums. So I have to go S tier on Saviors. Like that, I feel like of this bunch of records, this is the best one.
Okay. Dylan, go ahead.
I'm gonna put it in B tier. I don't know if I would say extremely harsh, because I still feel mostly the same about the album as my first listen. I don't know. It's a passable Green Day album. I wouldn't put it in their top 5 or anything. I see a lot of people who heap a lot of insane amount of praise on the record. Strange Days Are Here to Stay is probably the best Green Day song since 21st Century, and Dilemma is a close second.
Lewis, thoughts on Green Day's Saviors?
I'm kind of was waffling back on this one, so no way I'm gonna put this in S, but was kind of I don't really love this album either. I got to be honest. I think I like it less than Dylan and John. I thought it was okay, but it's comparatively, I thought it was pretty decent. It's relative, it's a Green Day record. It's whatever. But then I saw them perform on Good Morning America, and Dilemma was really bad there. So I'm gonna give them a negative thing for that. I'm just gonna put them in B tier. I think it's pretty mid. It's okay. But fortunately, John, I don't think we're gonna hear a ton of these songs tomorrow. Is the plan? So we'll see.
Oh, you don't think they're gonna play them?
It's supposed to be all of Dookie and American Idiot. So.
Okay. They're gonna sneak them in. They're gonna pull no effects.
Yeah, they're gonna play
yeah,
songs.
they are.
Yeah.
So Saviors was in my C tier, but then I re-listened to it, and I will say it's not as bad as like my initial reaction to it, which was I thought this was a kind of a snooze fest of a Green Day record. My thoughts are always it's like if Uno Dos Tres trimmed all the fat and they made one solidly good record out of it. I still feel that way, but there is like the American Dream is killing me. Look, Mono Brains, like Dilemma. Strange Days Are Here to Stay. Like there is some like pretty good songs. I think Dilemma is, in my opinion, Strange Days is good as well. It's the best Green Day songs in quite a long time. Also, the production's really good on this. I really like the sound of it. But I'm gonna go with Lewis and Dylan and put Saviors in my B tier. So better than I thought.
Nobody mentioned the best song, Corvette Summer.
I was just about to. I was gonna say, but then they have songs like Corvette Summer, and they've got some really just kind of generic, just kind of uninspired tracks on here. Like even One Eyed Bastard, I thought was a pretty forgettable track. But yeah, I guess we'll.
I can't believe you lumped this in with Uno Dos Tres, though, man. Come on, that's a low blow.
Well, no, it's better because it's like if you got if Uno Dos Tres, they concentrated on making one album instead of 3, I'm thinking you would get Saviors.
I think there's 7 songs on Saviors that are better than any song on Uno Dos Tres.
There's like that Nuclear, what's that? Is it Nuclear Family? There's a few decent songs on Uno Dos Tres.
Oh, no.
I was saying if they concentrated on making one record. That's not mainstay. I'm not saying if you just took 10, 12 songs from Uno Dos Tres, you'd get Saviors if they concentrated on just 12 songs. But all right,
you can move on. That's a hot take, man.
That's not a hot take. That's like a barely sizzling. But I'm gonna do it like this. We're gonna have Dylan go first for Bouncing Souls. I'm gonna bounce all around, but I have the order in my mind.
Okay.
We're gonna go Dylan. then we're gonna go to John, and I'll figure it out. All right, don't worry.
What happened to the snake?
This is a crazy snake. All right.
Okay, so this is the opposite of the Green Day record where I was very harsh on it to start and then I softened up on it over time. I was very, very praiseful, if that's a word, of this Bouncing Souls album when it came out. I gave it a really, really good review. It hasn't really stuck with me over time. I think at the time I was just so excited to have a proper new Bouncing Souls album. I thought Comet was decent, and then Simplicity kind of sucked. And then they had the EP and the acoustic album and stuff. So this was something I was waiting a while for, and I was very excited. There's great songs on it, like 10 Stories High, and Higher Ground is also a great song, True Believer Radio. But there's a lot of filler. The song with Kevin Seconds and stuff on it, I'm not very crazy about. So we'll put this in the C tier. Sorry for talking so much.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So, John, what do you have to say about this one?
Yeah, like Dylan said, he was hyping this up, and he had a copy like 2 months before anyone else. So I was really excited to hear it, and I think this is really, really, really bad. This is like the album that comes out that a band has to retire. Like when you know a band is done, they put out an album like this. I have True Believer Radio pinned, but that's only because I needed a song for the playlist of new music. I think there's zero standouts on this. It's the worst record they've released since probably the debut. It's a little more listenable than that, but this is D. This is just a bad, boring, uninspired album. It's very sad because I love the Bouncing Souls, but I hate this record.
All right, so it's going to be me now, then it'll be Lewis. So this is probably going to be another hot take from me here. I actually think it's a decent Bouncing Soul. I actually like the Bouncing Soul record. I actually enjoyed it for the most part. I was ready to like absolutely hate it, and I think 10 Stories High is a good song. And I was trying to figure out what exactly people hated about it. And it is like it is a boring record, but I think there's some really good melodies on this thing, and there's a lot of really catchy songs. Like I think 10 Stories High is really catchy. I think Kenver is a good song. I think Shannon's song where that like I found love, like I actually really like that song, and I was thinking about it and I'm like, it seems like Bouncing Souls is drawing from the Menzingers, and I was like, that would explain it. That would explain it, because Shannon's song really sounded like it could have been a Menzinger song. So I was like, I like this because it sounds like the Menzingers, and John hates this because it probably is drawing from that kind of dry mid-tempo.
They did release it. They did release a split with the Menzingers, so maybe
they did. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. So, but this is going all the way to my A tier. I actually really liked it, and I thought there was a lot of catchy songs on it, and I found myself humming along to a lot of the melodies. Like, it's not a top tier Souls record, but I think out of everything here, I actually overall enjoyed this record.
Yeah. Who would have thought that boring songwriting was contagious? Apparently, it is.
It's spreading like wildfire. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah, I think I'm closer to Elliot, I think, than I am to John. I'm going to strongly disagree that this is like a terrible record. I think it's like okay. I agree, it is boring, but I didn't want to skip any of the songs. I was kind of enjoying it. It was during my car ride, like I was refreshing on it. I don't think I've listened to it since it came out, and I agree with Dylan. Like, it definitely didn't stick with me at all. Like, I kind of forgot this existed. So, I think it's passable. I'm going to throw it in B tier. Why not? With Saviors, it feels about the same to me. I'll be honest.
Okay, that's fair. This is getting interesting. I like the whole.
It's
we're all
very
over the
different.
place here. I like this. All right, so what's the next band we've got here, John? And Lewis is going to start us off on this one.
It's going to be MxPx, Lewis's favorite band.
I'm not sure I know anything like I thought I knew before.
All
It's a
right,
big
Lewis's favorite band,
coincidence.
MxPx. What do you got to say about
My
this?
favorite
All
band,
Night.
MxPx. What?
Oh, sorry. I called it Up All Night. Is Find a Way Home. So but
Find
go
a
ahead.
way home.
Man.
Well, boys, this might surprise you, but I'm putting this in S. I really like this record.
Awesome.
You are correct. I am not a big MxPx fan. I hadn't listened to this, and then compared to these other records that we had to listen to, this was just a fun record. I think every song is enjoyable. I had a good time putting the record on rather than it feeling like a slog. And then bonus points because I had to go drive with my girlfriend. She enjoyed it too. She was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." So yeah, I think in this scenario it was going S or A, but I downvoted by Rancid a little bit. I enjoy this MxPx record better than that Rancid record for sure. So it is getting my S tier. I'm sorry, maybe that is the strangest thing to happen today, but
Shocking.
there you go.
It's shocking.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising. I'll go next here, and I'll say this. I thought this MxPx album was just a perfectly fine MxPx album. To me, this is kind of in the vein of what I expect from like late 2010 up MxPx. They definitely had better records, but I thought it was relatively catchy, and I didn't think it was too bad. Like Cautious Optimistic was fun. The opening track, Not Today. A couple different songs in here that I thought were just inoffensive pop punk songs. Like they weren't anything special. They weren't anything like amazing, but they were perfectly fine. Like I didn't want to skip anything. It was just like fine to have on in the car ride when I was driving around listening to this. And I'm gonna put Find a Way Home in my A tier with 10 Stories High. So
Jesus.
all right.
Wow, John's gonna shit all over this one, I guess.
So John, go ahead. What do you have to say about MxPx?
This is the worst MxPx album, I think. This is just like the Bouncing Souls, boring, uninspired, throw in the towel. To like put this out after, I think the self-titled is way different level than this. This is I don't know. I feel like the Bouncing Souls and MxPx were like in a room like huffing sedatives and just put out these trash albums. Actually, it's not D, it's C. It's C. It's better than the Bouncing Souls, but I really dislike this album. I think this album really sucks. Yeah, C tier.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm surprised. I can't see like anything that offensive about it, but I'm curious.
It's their
like,
worst
what's,
album. That's just I expect more from. I love MxPx, but this is
okay.
It's a schlock.
I guess like I'm not a big MxPx guy, and neither is Lewis. So maybe we just kind of was like just kind of a fun pop punk album to us. But I'm curious what Dylan
I
has to
thought,
say. Yeah.
Mike Herrera is gonna be the next one to block you on Instagram. I'll tell you that. He takes a lot of pride in the new material. I think this record suffers from the same pitfalls as life in general, in that musically, for the most part, like all the fast shit is awesome, but the lyrics are really a weak spot. And I don't know, like MxPx like tried to be edgy for a little bit, and now they're back to like, goody two shoes like Bible study lyrics. Like, I don't know, the album's like almost too like squeaky clean for me. It's hard to explain. It seems really neutered lyrically. And the songs about his kid and stuff, like I can't really relate. So I don't know. It's a weird lyrically, musically for the most part. It's on brand with the kind of MxPx I like. I really don't know where to put it. I like it better than most of these, so I'll go with Lewis and put it in the S.
Oh my god!
But,
after that, you pulled an Elliot, man.
Yeah, I did. I do think.
Oh man, I thought it was to be like C tier or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
No, Mountains to Climb is probably the best, and then the weakest would probably be like Excuse My French or something. I dislike that even more than Cautious Optimistic.
I like Cautious Optimistic.
That Cautious
Yeah, I think
Optimistic is
I
my
think it's
favorite song in the album. If I had to pick one.
Yeah, it was a good
The
song.
Call Me's pretty good too, right? If I remember. I'm trying to remember
Yeah,
the song.
those are the two I have pinned.
I also, really quick, I want to say, if you see MxPx recently, they play way too much off this record. Like, a quarter of the set list is dedicated to these songs.
That's rough. No one's there to see that. That sucks.
All right, well, let's go to the next band here, and I'll start us off. So who do we have, John?
It's gonna be Alkaline Trio with Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs.
And you're the only one that I can tell, that I can talk to.
Okay, this is a pretty easy one. This is definitely, I would say, by far the best record out of everything that's on here. It's the most cohesive. It's the most well written. It's the one where I listen to it, and it doesn't seem like a band that's like burning out.
Yep.
And in their last gasps of their career, it seems pretty fresh. I mean, I only can compare it to the couple of Alkaline Trio albums I listened to, but honestly, I thought it was, maybe not as good as those, but it was pretty close. Like, it wasn't that far off from what I heard on From Here to Infirmary and Crimson and stuff like that. Like, those are definitely better records, but I feel like there was a lot of good stuff on here. So it's going to in my S tier. And we'll go to Lewis. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this probably pretty obvious because I'm a big mark for Alkaline Trio, but I've been pretty brutal on their previous records, and I think this one is really good. This is going to be my other S tier. I agree. I mean, it doesn't feel like a last gasp. It feels like a band getting a second wind. I don't know if like he had to like get out of Blink or something to kind of rejuvenate the band and kind of refocus it, but it doesn't feel like they're phoning it in. They lost some of that, fat that they had on a bunch of other records previous to this. So, yeah, I like this. It's 10 tracks, mean and clean and short. Is good. It's tier.
All right, Dylan, what do
I
you
guess,
think of this?
So, realistically, this should be my second S, but it is not. I'm just not a huge Alkaline Trio fan. I think it's a fantastic record, and I like it way better than My Shame Is True and Is This Thing Cursed. I wasn't a fan of either of those two. So I was looking for like an entry point to get on board with Alkaline Trio, and I think this is for someone who hasn't heard the band, this is an excellent spot to start. I'm gonna put it in A. And my favorite song is Meet Me, despite the I thing. I really like that song.
Some people are saying it's their worst song. I remember it was coming.
That was John. John hated that song. Yeah.
There's a couple people in the comments. They before it came out, they're like, "Meet Me is the worst Alkaline Trio song, but the album's amazing." But John, what do you have to say about Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs?
This is gonna be the first time I agree with any of you guys across the list so far. I've been by myself with every single one. This is the second best album on the list. It's gonna be my other S tier. It's funny, like if this was My Shame Is True, it would fit in with the rest of this, like the Rancid, MxPx, Bouncing Souls is like a boring, bland. But this has Hot for Preacher and Bad Time are like two of my favorite Alkaline songs in like the last 15 years probably. So, and I think I probably like those two better than any of the songs off Saviors, but I'm just going off of the Saviors has more songs that I like, but I'm still gonna go S for Alkaline.
Okay, and let's go to the next band here, and John, you'll start us off with this one as well.
New guns coming from a stereo. Turn it up, never gonna let you go.
All right, let's see. We got Strung Out. It's going to be Dead, Rebellion. A lot of these ones we did reactions for, so I think people know how we feel. This is probably the one reaction we've ever done where we were both kind of very optimistic and very kind. After that first listen, I did not find myself going back to listen to this like hardly at all. I was listening full blast on like a very good set of headphones, where I feel like that's really the only way this album sounds good. If you're listening like on your computer speakers or even the vinyl, I don't think it really sounds that good, being honest.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna go C tier. I liked it at first and it just kind of fell apart for me. Future Ghost and Veronica's song I think are solid. Better than anything off of Horse album, but that's really it. And then being better than the Horse album is not anything anyone should hang their hat on. So I'm gonna go C tier.
Well, the Horse album is one of the greatest pieces of music ever created. So, but we'll move past that. And Dylan, what do you think of Dead Rebellion by Strung Out?
I can't remember. What do we give it? Like a 7?
Yeah, I think you're both
so.
in the 7 territory. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, retroactively, I mean, everyone obviously is like, oh, you're in Fat Wreck's pocket and you're fucking shills or whatever. I wish I was. I could probably not work a fucking real job and shit if that was the case. But we're not. We just, I guess we were made some concessions that maybe we shouldn't have. I don't know. I don't think I could have been much harsher on it. I don't like the production. The album sounds really tinny, like it was mixed to be played on someone's phone speaker on TikTok reels. It does sound like fucking shit on vinyl too. Just almost unlistenable on
Yes.
vinyl. Like the CD sounds better. It starts like pretty okay-ish. It has a lot of weak spots in the middle, and then it finishes really strong. And I Stand by Veronica's song is a crazy good song. I'll put it in C tier because there's one other record on here that I'll put in B that I like more than this. Obviously.
Okay. And Lewis, what do you think of Dead Rebellion?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of flogging a dead horse here, but not a dead horse album. But yeah, this one was an improvement for sure from the Horse album. I also think the Horse album sounds like shit too. Am I misremembering that? It didn't sound very good either.
I'd say
but,
the production on the instruments are better on there.
But I mean, yeah, very forgettable record. It has B tier written all over it. It's pretty good. I mean, I listened to it maybe 1.5 times, but I don't see myself going back to it again. But definitely not D tier level record. So
I look forward to 10 years from now when they let Ryan Green remaster and remix the record.
Can't wait to hear those 15 bonus tracks from the Dead Rebellion session.
I just want to hear the bass guitar, man. It's not there.
Yeah, I will say for a demo album, this is pretty good, but apparently this was supposed to be an actual album. There is like a good record within Dead Rebellion. When I listen to it, there is like a lot of good riffs. There's a lot of good melodies. It just sounds really bad. Sometimes the vocal straining on Jason's voice is really noticeable to the point where it really pulls you out of the album, where you're like, should we have done like a second take, dude? Or, like, what's going on here? Like, this sounds really bad. And like, there's not. It's not like everyone. It's not as bad as everyone is reacting to it. Like, this is like everyone is reacting to it. Is like, this is the worst piece of music that like has ever been made. It was like the worst thing ever. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. There's some musical merit to it. It's just unfinished, to be honest. Like, it sounds like an unfinished record, and so I really can't give it too much more than that. And I'll probably put it in C tier with you guys as well. So there's
Look
good
at
songs. Yeah.
It is Strung Out.
Solidity.
Nice.
Like Dystopian Party Bus is a good song, and like Cages has a really good riff, and Signal Fires is
I'm actually
pretty
I'm gonna mulligan. I'm gonna move it up to B and move Rancid.
Oh,
down.
you ruined it.
Yeah, I
decent. All
don't.
right,
I don't want to be
closer to me.
I don't want to be the same.
The check just cleared from Fat Records, folks.
But yeah,
There you go.
I don't know. It seemed like they just didn't finish it or something. I don't know what was happening there, but
The
apparently there was some drama.
the producer does not. They needed like a real fucking producer doing this
Yeah.
record. Someone who could tell them that sounded like shit.
Yeah, and you're right. The bass is like non-existent. It's like very guitar heavy, but it sounds like it's two guitarists without a bass player.
Yeah, there's no bass.
But all right, Dylan, you're going to start us off with Millencolin SOS. So what do you have to say about this one?
There's no going back. We're on a one-way track. Don't you know?
Okay, so this one is the one that I'm gonna put in B. And I mean, just because the production's better, I don't think the songs are necessarily better. I like True Brew a lot more than this record, and I felt like the fact that it had to follow that kind of hurt it a bit, because that was a very good record. This one, not so much, not nearly as memorable. It doesn't have like, what's that song, the Take You Home or whatever from True Brew? Take Me Home?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah. I just there's no memorable songs on this. I haven't listened to it in a few years now, and I don't know. It's just nothing special in my opinion. But it sounds better than Dead Rebellion.
I mean, definitely. Let's see here. John, what do you have to say about Millencolin?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right with Dylan in the B tier. I think this is pretty good. I'm surprised to see this is 5 years ago already, but I think that Sour Days is a really good track. I think Do You Want War is a good track. I know Lewis loves True Brew too, but I don't know if I'm incorrectly remembering. I think I like this one a little better than True Brew. I think this is a solid Millencolin record, especially a post Kingwood Millencolin album. I would put it at my B tier. I feel good about it.
Okay, I'll go here. I thought this was like a decent record. It was a bit forgettable, but there was some good songs on it. Like I think the first track SOS has a really good with those those ahs in the background, and felt pretty cool. There was some decent songs. They have a song referencing Yanni and Laurel, which is a little embarrassing. But also Caveman's Land was kind of a fun song as well. But overall, it's still a little bit of a forgettable record for me, and it didn't really click too much with me. And I probably wouldn't revisit it. But honestly, it wasn't that bad. And I don't know. Might even like it more than the debut. I can't tell, but we'll put it in C tier for right now. But it's better than Dead Rebellion, but it's still not anything to write home about. Go ahead, Lewis. What do you have to say?
I actually think I want to use a mulligan here too, John, and I want to swap the Bouncing Souls down to C, and I want to put SOS in B. I think that's the way I feel. I mean, the Bouncing Souls record I don't hate. I like it more than Dead Rebellion. And SOS, I think I just felt a little guilt for the Bouncing Souls for you nuking them, John, and I wanted to give them a little kick. But if I'm being true to my heart here, I'm going to have to put SOS in B. It's solid. I don't like it as much as True Brew, but it's definitely good. I mean, there's not a lot to dislike about Millencolin in general. I mean, they pretty much just go, they follow a recipe and they shit out records. I mean, besides Machine 15, which whatever. But this is good. So B tier. Let's see what we got next.
Yeah, what do we got next here? And you're going to start us off, Lewis. All right.
Oh no,
It's gonna be the
So
Weasel.
we've got the Awful Disclosures of Screeching Weasel by Screeching Weasel.
Well, I don't really have a lot of openings, and this definitely isn't an A tier record, so I'm putting this one in D. I think it's whatever. It's a Screeching Weasel record. It's okay. It didn't really inspire me anything. I'm not a big Weasel fan, so I think it's okay. But compared to whatever we have left, it's not my favorite. So I'll go D.
Oh man,
All right. Dylan, what do you have to say about this record?
I wonder.
You see that spot up there in S? Go ahead and put this in there. Yeah, I think this is a great record. I don't like it as much as First World Manifesto or Some Freaks of Atavism, but it's still Screeching Weasel. Benjamin Foster has not written a bad record aside from Emo. And maybe, actually this original Screeching Weasel album, the self-titled one, I think it was. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good songs on here. I like that the production sounds the same as the last two records. Mike Kennerty from the All American Rejects is holding it down on the Screeching Weasel production. Yeah, Just Another Fool, Any Minute Now, Dead Alive. There's a lot of great songs on here.
All right. John, what do you have to say about the Awful Disclosures of Screeching Weasel?
Yeah, I consider this from my S tier too. I think this is a really solid Weasel record. I 100% agree with Dylan. I think that this is below Some Freaks, and I think it's below First World Manifesto. But My Favorite Nightmare, Just Another Fool is a great song. I think that was in their top 5 in Feud. Dead Alive is the other one I liked on here. It's it's continuing the sound of some Freaks, but it's a little below, but it's still really good, really listenable album. It's miles above anything else in my B tier, so I'm gonna slide it in A.
You know what? I'm gonna do my first mulligan here and drop Dead Rebellion down to D and put Awful Disclosures.
Man, you were gonna do D also? You and Lewis?
I considered it. I don't know, because I listened to Dead Rebellion and I was like, there's a good album here, but I don't think the Screeching Weasel record is bad or anything. I mean, the positive is it's like an okay Screeching Weasel record. The negatives are it's an okay Screeching Weasel record, so it's, you know.
That's the way I felt. I mean, it's like I have nothing against this record. I thought it was okay, but
yeah, I think it makes more sense being with Millencolin, which I also thought was like a decent record. It was like a good record to listen to. Like I'm saying, like a lot of these that are in C and B are pretty much bunched together. They are all basically on the same level, in my opinion. But I thought it was good. I thought 6 Ways Till Sunday, or is that what it's called? That starting, was a good starting track, and there's some good ones. Yeah, Just Another Fool. There's some good songs in here that I thought were like decent. They were a good jam while I was driving around. And actually, the production's pretty good on it too.
I can't believe you guys both have the Bouncing Souls record over this. That's terrible.
I like the Bouncing Souls record.
Yeah, I like the Bouncing Souls way more than Screeching Weasel.
Oh my
It's not even
god,
close.
I actually think the Bouncing Souls record's like I might even listen to it again at some point.
dude! That record's 25 minutes. It feels like 25 hours. They really accomplished something there.
Well, let's go to the next one here, and I believe I'll be starting us off with this one. Yes,
All right, Blink 182, One More Time.
All right, so Blink 182, One More Time. It's pretty tough to say with this one. I actually like this record like a good bit. The negative. Let me say the negatives real quick first. The negatives are we've got the standard Travis Barker production. I am not a huge fan of, and also Mark and Tom are starting to sound like AI generated versions of themselves with the amount of digital effects on their voices. But I think like the whole build up to the album, the whole thing of Tom being back and Mark having cancer, there's like a story that comes along with this record, and especially being like a big Blink 182 fan, it was definitely like a really good time seeing them all back together. And I even thought One More Time was a great song. The only thing I actually wish it was longer, because I wish it went into like a fast guitar part at the end. I thought that would have made it like a really good song. I thought Terrified is probably the best Blink song that's come out in a very long time. I thought that was really good. And overall, even with all of the sloppiness and all of its flaws, there's a part of me that just like loves this record so much, and I still go back and listening to it, and I'm putting it in my S tier.
Ooh.
So,
Holy. Who's up next?
I guess it's me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is not my other D tier. I'm just going to give that away. I'm putting this in A. I think this is a pretty passable record. I am not a big Blink fan either, but it was really nice to kind of hear this record come together after the previous one, because that one was really balls, and I'm not even a Skiba hater, so I think California's a pretty good record. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. It just feels kind of like a throwback to classic Blink to an extent, without a lot of the shit I didn't like. I agree with a lot of the criticisms already leveraged, but go with A. It's a pretty decent record, and now Dylan's going to get to put it in D tier, so let's see what happens.
Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I think my C and D are basically all, maybe not the next one we're going to talk about, all on par with one another. So it might seem harsh to put it there. It definitely sounds like it was produced by a drummer. Just the drums are overpowering, especially the bass and the snare. I think there's good songs on it. I don't hate the record. I like More Than You Know and Turpentine and a few other songs I think are very good. I will say the best song they left off the album, which was Cut Me Off. I think that should have been on the record.
All right, John.
Bonus track.
I'm assuming this is going in your D tier, right, John? I'm kidding.
All right, I agree with Dylan. That's Cut Me Off is like the one song I have pinned. I think that's a really good song too. One when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I didn't really like that album. And then I like started listening to all these, and I was like, you know what? Like, granted, I hate the way this album sounds, like you guys said. I can't deny that it's better than Dead Rebellion. It's better than MxPx and the Bouncing Souls. It's not boring. Like, I only listened to it a handful of times. I can pretty much remember the chorus for like all these songs. Like they all kind of have a feel to them. I can't deny that it's a well-written album. Terrified is a good song. There's a couple like fast ones on here too. Like Turpentine, like Dylan said. I think Bad News might be my favorite one on there. So I'm going to be fair. I'm going to go A. Like, all things considered, this is just better than the ones below it, which is the name of the game.
All right. So we've got the final record here, and we're going to start off with you, John. So go ahead and reveal.
Oh, no. No, I think you should go first, Elliot, because you're going to have the only one with positive things to say, or do you want to go last?
I mean, I can go first. I can go anytime. I'll defend Bodies by AFI.
You better have a mulligan in there, Elliot.
No
mulligan.
No, there's no mulligan. This is 100% genuine. I think Bodies by AFI is a good record. I think it's a good record. I like it a lot. This is basically AFI trying to do Joy Division in New Order, and I think there's a lot of really good songs in there. I think the production's really good. I like the bass sound. I think it's just like an interesting record, and I can at least like appreciate the musicality. I think Davey Havok is probably one of his best vocal performances is on this record. I think Twisted Tongues is a song I listen to all the time, and yeah, there's some songs in here that are not very good that I almost want to skip, but I think there is a good bit of songs in here that I like, and I liked it enough that I even bought the vinyl. I have it somewhere. I should have had it pulled out. While you guys are shitting on it, I'll pull it out and show you. The variant's very cool. It looks really cool. But yeah, I guess I won't defend it anymore. I like this record. I go back and I listen to it still. So, but yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, but I enjoy it. So go ahead, Lewis.
I had not listened to this record, to be honest. I have had no interest really in listening to AFI. I didn't even know this came out. I would have not known I was listening to AFI like in any world, I think, when I put this record on. I was like, this has a lot in common with like a baseball stadium bathroom. Like, it feels like it was created in the 80s, is a piece of shit or something. Like, I don't know. It's pretty bad. So it's I didn't enjoy it at all. I found it really hard to get through this. I was getting through like minute and a half of each song, and I was like, I can't take anymore, and changing it. I really disliked it. So I have not been a huge fan of AFI probably since Sing the Sorrow, so I am biased obviously here. So yeah, pretty bad. So, Dylan, what do you got to say about your D tier pick of Bodies?
Go ahead. Check out this variant, though. It looks fucking sick. It's got, like, ghost on it. They're like ghost twirls.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. Shit on it, Dylan.
This is like if your best friend converted to Scientology.
Okay.
And,
that's okay to shit on.
All of the personality and life and everything, just they sucked it out of him, and he's just a shell. This is what this is like. This is an incredibly boring amalgamation of somewhat musical sounds. There's no distinct characteristics that differentiate each track. It's all one big glob of bullshit. It is almost insane how a band that made like just exciting music, like everything on Nitro, super exciting. Even the post 9/11, Sing the Sorrow, December Underground. I think those are good albums, and they have fun songs. And AFI was a unique band. Now they, like you said, Joy Division. Like, they're trying to. How is an established band that's been around like 30 years just trying to copy another band? Like, they don't have a unique quality to their sound anymore. I
don't know too many bands that sound like this AFI record, so I'll say it's.
There's probably a reason for that, Elliot.
Okay, all right.
I don't think
However-
99% of the population is even aware this was released, though. It's just like a gray square. Like, nobody knows this shit exists.
Yeah, this
It feels like a record made for no one to me. Like,
It was made for me. Here, mulligan it up to S tier, John. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's almost impressive how they've managed to like alienate anyone who ever gave a shit about their music.
I mean, look, dude. If anyone's expecting AFI to make punk rock at this point, you're more likely to get the Flatliners to make a ska
No,
record.
but something with like melody and like a catchy chorus.
They've
or
been doing
anything.
it. They've been doing. I think Twisted Tongues has a pretty catchy chorus.
yeah.
but-
So here's what happened here. You know, people copy McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. AFI went out there and copied Jack in the Box, and this is what they got out of it. Ellie, this is the worst thing you've ever made me listen to. I'll be honest. Machine Gun Kelly, Paramore, Tonight Alive, The Academy Is, that Volcano album, Kenny Hoopla. Give me all that stuff over this. This is honestly the worst thing I've ever had to listen to on the channel. It's
just
really,
had,
really, really bad.
We just
take
went back
20
months of
Yeah.
painful memories for John, and
I'd
it's
take
all coming out right
24
now.
hours in a padded room with this Bouncing Souls record over listening to Bodies again. So yeah, it's a big capital D.
I mean,
for-
24 hours of the Bouncing Soul record, you might actually like it. So
I can listen to it like 1,000 times. So
really
Look-
feel like you were a little harsh on Jack in the Box there because it's delicious and this album is fucking terrible. But yeah, sorry.
no, dude, it's whatever. I expected all of you guys to hate it. I just liked it. I thought it was an interesting
It's
take on
fine.
something. And it's like it's not a like the downside is like it's not AFI. Like I would love AFI to come out with like a record like Sing the Sorrow again more than I would this. But I thought for what they were trying to do, I thought it was at least musically I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was a cool little diversion into a genre I've never heard them do before. And I thought they did it decently well. So it's not a record I'm putting on all the time, but occasionally there's a few songs I think are a good time to listen to.
If Davey called this black audio or whatever his other thing is called or anything like that,
Sure.
cool. That's fine. It's not AFI though.
Sure.
But-
I mean,
but I'm sure that
it
other
hasn't been
stuff-
AFI for a while.
I'm sure the other stuff sells like dog shit and the label hates it, so whatever.
Yeah.
They gotta do what you gotta do.
I remember that black.
What label are they on now?
Is this still DreamWorks?
Interscope?
Yeah. Let's see.
Wow.
Spotify always has these weird ass attributions.
X knock.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
This sounds like some Davey Havoc fever dream name. I don't think it's real.
Well, I guess we'll wrap
Rise.
this up here. Rise Records.
Yeah, so they're on a small label.
We'll wrap this up here, but I just want to ask you guys a quick question before we close this out. Was anybody's newest record better than the debut that you could think of? And we'll start with Lewis real quick. It was anybody's newest record better than their debut record here?
Oof. I mean, I'll probably get some heat if I say that Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs is better than God Damn It, but I think it is. So
Okay.
I think it's pretty close. I mean, yeah. I mean, God Damn It's a good record, but there's a lot of garbage songs on there too. So there's some of the later stuff. So yeah, I'll give Alkaline the pick.
Okay.
I definitely don't think a lot of the other ones really come close though. So.
All right, Dylan.
Oh wait, hold on. Millencolin is definitely better than their
Yes,
first
I was
one, too. I'm
waiting for
sorry.
that. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I totally forgot. My bad. Go on.
Yeah. All right. But yeah. Dylan, what do you think?
Half of my namesake, Screeching Weasel. This is a exponentially better album than what was the first album? It was self-titled,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
the 7-Eleven on the
I'm with
cover.
you on this one too.
Yeah, that album sucks. That's fucking garbage. Millencolin's a toss-up because like I like the faster skate punk songs on is it Tiny Tunes or Same Old Tunes,
Yeah.
like Mr. Clean and stuff. But there's no denying that obviously they're a way better band now and the production value's way higher. Other than that, I mean, Alkaline is in the conversation, but none of the others. Maybe. Nah, I don't want to say that. All right, that's all.
All right, John. Any of these better than their debuts?
All right. I'll say it. I think Alkalines is better. I think it's tough to say, but I think it is better. Screeching Weasel 110% is better. Millencolin.
I agree. I wasn't even thinking. I'm with you on Screeching Weasel, even if I gave it a D. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go on.
definitely.
Millencolin, yes. And honestly, guys, I think it's a very, very low bar, but the Bouncing Souls, that first album is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's terrible versus boring. Give me boring. So
Yeah.
I'd even take 10 stories. So I'd take all those.
All right. Yeah, let's see here. I think the Souls record is definitely better. I think the Screechy Weasel and Millencolin records are definitely better. And I think other than that, I think I still like the first Alkaline Trio record better than this one. But it's not like it's that far off. But I really like the raw sound that's on that. So, but yeah, I think that will wrap it up here. So we'll do this again. We're gonna repeat another group of debuts and another group of new records. So hopefully this next one there will be some more exciting albums to listen to. So and then we'll do
second albums. Everybody
sophomore.
agree with me. Everybody
Yeah.
agree with me out there.
I agree with you too. All right, I'm not against it. I was in
Kerplunk,
agreement.
Dude Ranch.
That would be a tough one. That'd be a good one. So
It'd be really good.
but yeah, we'll get all those ready to go and stuff like that. We'll try to get all four of us in the same room together. So the hardest part, not the same room. So, but same
virtual room.
Same virtual room. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to go to punkrockradar.limitedrun.com for records and merchandise. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Leave a comment down below. Where do we fuck up? Where do we get right? Just mostly say what we got right. That would be great. We prefer those comments.
Nice comments.
Yeah, the nice ones. So, yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and thank you for watching the video. Peace out, guys.